Nashville, Tennessee. Today, Mason and Laura Milliken, you're with us today. And normally, I have, some kind of a way to introduce people. But in this case, I'm going to do it a little bit different today. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Okay, Mason?
Great.
So, it's, I'll say this. We met through a common friend of ours. I had you speak to our staff and give an encouragement and an encouraging word to our staff. I've got a lot of response from that, and I think it's time to get a bit of a testimony. So look, this phrase is testimonial, it is encouraging, it is challenging, and there's a lot going on here. How do you want to start this, Mason? I'll let you kind of do this. I normally do it, but I'm going to let you do it for some reason this time. Go ahead.
Well, I could take you back to 2014,
Okay.
which was a very pivotal time of Laura and I's lives. I had just started a branch for another company in Omaha, Nebraska. I hired my best friends. My little brother was working with us, and things were perfect until they weren't. And everything took a very big turn. And suddenly, we were out of a job. The company was going bankrupt, and we all got let go. So here we are with 3 little kids, still in diapers, our first 3 at the time. Laura's a stay-at-home mom, and we had 0 backup plan. But what happened next for us changed everything.
My goodness.
And it wasn't a moment of brilliance. It was an experiment with surrender that led us down a path we would have never gone down on our own.
So, we're talking 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Your life completely changed. I have one note down on a little card. Normally I have a whole bunch of notes, and I have some things. I have one little note. How to download the world's next great idea from heaven.
Yes.
Okay. Explain yourself, sir.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we started learning in 2014 comes from Isaiah, where it says that our God acts on behalf of those who wait upon him. And when we lost our job, we knew that there were 2 routes that we could go. Number one was just take the traditional route of throwing out resumes, doing interviews, and just trying to make something happen. But the other route was to pause and experiment with what would happen in our life if we gave God the next move. What would happen? And he had just started teaching us about waiting upon the Lord and how to wait upon the Lord. So in 2014, we stop everything and we say, God, we're at a fork in the road. We're willing to surrender and give you the next move in our life, no matter what it is. And one day I was sitting in a chair. My eyes were closed and I was just waiting. Like, what are you going to do? What is your next move? Show me something. And God showed me this picture. And he showed me that when people wait upon him, it's like wading into the water. And in this picture, I was up to my ankles in the water. And I thought, oh, that's great. And I went in a little deeper, and then I'm up to my knees. Then I went in a little deeper, and I was up to my hips. And God said that the longer you remain in him, the deeper you go. And I just stayed and stayed in this place of waiting upon the Lord until pretty soon in this picture, I looked back. The water was up to my neck, and I was miles from the edge. I was miles from the shoreline. And I had a little moment of panic, like, I'm out of control. I'm out of control. What am I going to do? And I tried to swim back to shore, but the current that was taking me out was much stronger than my ability to resist it, and it was pulling me somewhere new. And the funny thing is, that's what happened over the next 2.5 years, was a season for us of waiting upon the Lord and learning to surrender. And it was a combination of both beautiful and brutal. Because for those 2.5 years, access to God was like thinner than it's ever been in my life. We could see him and hear him and encounter him in ways that we'd never been able to before. I would sometimes spend just hours every day just sitting directly in his presence. But it was also brutal because I had no work. Our savings was draining. We were having to sell off assets. And I would ask him, what do I do? Where do I go? Every day I would ask him these two questions. And for those 2.5 years, every day he would say to me, you have nothing to do. You have nowhere to go. Wait upon me. And it was tough.
It was tough.
But after 2.5 years, out of almost nowhere, 2 businessmen approached me and said, Mason, we'd like to start a company with you and we'd like you to run it. And it was so much out of the blue that I actually turned it down because I thought there's no way this would be God. And if it wasn't for Laura encouraging me, go for it, we would have never made the next move. But we ended up saying yes. And if the last 2.5 years had been about stillness and quietness and peace, the next 5 years was like a dam had broke over our life and everything just started rushing. And in 5 years, we grew a company from our garage, our 3rd car garage, into 15 cities across the nation. And at the end of 2021, we had around 150 employees. We sold the company to a wonderful private equity firm. I transitioned as CEO throughout 2022. I promoted my first hire as president of the company. And just like that, it was all done. And we were back to a similar spot where we had started from the very beginning. And so we did, once again, the only thing we knew how to do, which is to sit and stay and wait upon the Lord's next move. And I didn't know if it would be days or weeks or years again, but in that moment of surrender, I'm like, I'm willing to let go of that because your ways are higher than my ways. Your thoughts are so much higher than my thoughts. It's an unfair trade to take you in return for me. So here you go. And one day I'm sitting by the edge of this lake, and out of nowhere, almost like a flash of an idea came upon me, and it started to grow and expand faster than I could even keep up with. Until after about 30 to 45 seconds, I could see an entire business laid out before my eyes. An entire industry shifting and revolutionizing business laid out before my eyes. And I thought, there is no way that something like that would even be possible. But in my effort to be the kind of friend to God that's willing to say yes when he gives a hint or a nugget, I said, I'm going to hire some developers. I had just exited my last company, so we had some money to work with. I'm going to hire some developers, and they're probably going to tell me in a week or two that this isn't possible. And that'll be the end of it, and I'll be like, I obeyed God. We tried. We did our best. And it's been 2 years since then, and we still haven't hit a wall. We have a team of 25 individuals. We have partnerships with national home improvement companies all across the nation. And God is on the move in the marketplace. I can tell you that. He is longing to bring heaven to earth in the marketplace with inspiration that could only come from him. And I just have a deep, deep conviction that the world has seen what man can do in business and in lots of other verticals. But there are few stories of the world seeing what God could do if he were truly given control. If someone was truly willing to let go and take a risk, not on a market or an industry like a lot of entrepreneurs do, but to take a risk on Jesus and see what would happen if you gave him the next move in your business.